Hello there, you're watching QTV's This Morning program, and I am your host, Jennifer Sonko, and of course, joined by my amazing co-host, Ibrahim Abalde. Thank you so much.
Yes, Jennifer, it's good to be here this Thursday morning, and today I am very active.
Okay.
Yesterday, I've taken my vaccine, and well, it's important for each and every person to go take your vaccine. You know, it's about protecting your family. It's about protecting yourself and your colleagues. So it's important for us to go. If you can see today, we are all rocking our t-shirts.
Yes,
you know what,
fully
Jennifer?
Vaccinated.
Today,
I'm not fully vaccinated,
you know what I feel?
actually, because I took the Sinopharm, so I'm not fully vaccinated. I did not take one shot. So August 15, I'm supposed to go for my second shot. So make sure that you also take your second shot. You know, don't be lazy. You've got one shot. Make sure to take the second one. And also, don't be mixing and blending vaccines. You took the Sinopharm because the Johnson & Johnson is one shot. You want to go take it. Don't do that.
Exactly.
That is not advised by the WHO. The WHO is advising that you have to take one particular vaccine. Either the AstraZeneca, the Sinopharm,
or the
J&J, or the Pfizer, which I don't think is available in Gambia, and other vaccines.
Exactly. Well, some people will be complaining about side effects. And, well, I mean, it is mentioned on your card that there are possible side effects. So, well, it's normal. At the end of time, you will get over it. So, you know, people are different too. Some will take it and they won't feel anything. But it's safer for you to go and take this vaccine. Jennifer, today you are looking very beautiful.
Yeah, I'm looking very beautiful, but I think I'm sitting here today with a headache. You said you're very active. I'm not quite active today.
I know.
I'm not quite active, but like you said, it differs sometimes. Sometimes you're so active, sometimes you're calm, which is quite okay.
Exactly.
But I'm happy that you're active today and you mentioned it.
But don't worry. I'll tell Mohammed to give me his G-Wagon today.
Okay, and you'll take me home with that.
I'll take you out.
Isn't that beautiful?
I'll take you out and take you home.
Okay, if you take me out, I'll be totally fine. Maybe I need to chill out. Maybe
you need to relax.
I need to chill. Yes. So how was the experience generally taking the vaccine?
Well, you know? First of all, before you take your vaccine, because of the things that people are saying, you know, many things will be hitting your mind. And when you go, you realize it is just a normal injection. I mean, it's like taking your normal vaccine. You know, I can remember back then in our primary school when they were rolling the massive vaccination campaign against polio, you know, we've taken those vaccines. So it just reminded me of those days. So it's normal. It's a normal thing. So I advise everybody to go and take your vaccine. Jennifer,
yes, so that is important. So moving on, like we always do it on this program, we give you a rundown of what we have for you today. And if you're tuning on this program for the first time, this is QTV's This Morning program, coming your way from Monday to Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11:30. So today we have the motivational quotes, we have newspaper review. We're joined by our very own MS Ba, Mohammed MS Ba. He's a board member of Activista, as well as the vice president of the Gambia Press Union. We also have Community Watch. We will be taking a look at UNFPA China aid support, over 30 million worth of medical items. Here we'll be discussing that. We also have social issues, where we'll be discussing fashion, how to dress properly for an occasion. We have somebody here who will help us answer that particular question. COVID vaccination. We'll be joined by our colleague Ansamana Isonyasi, who's a COVID-19 survivor and eventually took his COVID-19 vaccine. So he'll be sharing his experience with us. We also have the art segment. This is a new segment and it will be coming your way every Thursday. And Ade Derame with Poet Sidibe will be taking a look at this particular segment. So we do not have Keeping Fit today and the entertainment segment. It will come your way starting from next week. So let's go with the motivational quote that we have for today.
Yes.
So what do we have?
Oh, wow. This one is similar to the yesterday one.
Yes.
you must fail 100 times to succeed once.
Yeah, and that is by Sylvester Stallone.
Exactly.
So he said you must fail 100 times to succeed. I think most of the quotes that we've had so far has to talk about taking risk, or the fact that you have to fail, you have to crawl, to walk, to run. You know, all of these quotes are really connected, and this shows that most of these great people who are given these quotes had to fail at some point in their lives to be able to reach where they are today. So all of the three quotes that we've had so far are very connected.
Yes.
The other one had to do with risks. The other one had to do with the fact that you have to lose to be able to win. And now we're talking about the fact that you have to fail 100 times to be able to succeed.
Exactly. If you look at people like Sylvester Stallone, he is a great actor. And most of the time he tried very well when it comes to his movies. You understand? If a man like this can give you a quote like this, know that it's from experience.
And you know, the funniest thing is, most of the movies that he acts has to do with fighting, you know, and sometimes you would see that the person he's fighting with gets to beat him, and you feel like he's down, he's on the floor, and at some point you see him coming out with action again.
Always the ending looks different.
Exactly.
At the beginning, I mean, he will be beaten. I mean, but at the end of the time, before the end of the movie, he will
see him up again. So I think this particular quote fits what he does as an individual.
Absolutely.
So like we always do it, Balde, let the people out there believe that they're bold, they're beautiful. If you're a man, you're handsome, you're good enough, you're going to make it. But don't be afraid to fail. You're going to fail at some point, and you'll get to win at some point.
If time will allow me, I was listening to a guy called Les Brown. He's a motivational speaker. He said during his primary school days in the US, one of his lecturer came to the class, one of his teachers came to the class. This guy told him, you are mentally retarded, like you can't make it. You are different from the students, you understand? So this, I mean, gave him so much emotions that he became emotional, and even contributing in class. I mean, sometimes he fear. You know, fear, it's a problem. So that teacher was changed eventually, and there was a teacher that replaced that guy. So when the new teacher came, this guy, Les Brown, when the teacher asked a question, you know, and he called Les Brown to come and write something on the board. So Les said to the teacher, my previous teacher said, I am mentally retarded, I cannot do these things. You understand? So the teacher said to him, someone's opinion about you should not be your reality. So since that day, he said he started breaking barriers. So I think people have to move on. Let's keep on trying. We don't have to surrender. There is a whole wall ahead of us. So let's keep pushing.
Balde, last night you could see that at the National Assembly we got a shout out from National Assembly member Saini Ture of. He talked about the fact that they get to depend on QTV to have news, or to get to see parliamentary proceedings and all of that. So we want to thank him for the fact that he gave us a mention and actually acknowledged that our efforts as a television is benefiting his community. So thank you so much, and we will continue doing the work that we do. So moving on, we will take a short commercial break. When we come back, we will head right on to the newspaper review with Mohammed M.S. Ba. Do stay tuned.
such exceptional prices, impossible to miss the Butty Days. Butty Days is the unmissable appointment of Buttimat. From the 17th to the 31st of July, take advantage of exceptional discounts up to 50% off on several product family. The best quality, price ratio for the best construction is at Buttimat. So don't wait anymore. Let's hit the road for the Butty Days. Buttimat, everything for construction, from foundation to finishing.
With QCell's eFancanta service, you never have to worry about running out of credit, whether you're completely out of cash or far from a credit vendor. QCell's eFancanta is your way out. Loan any amount between $10 and $100 now and pay later. Dial *393# to get started. As part of our efforts to always be your trusted network, we encourage you to use *393# for all your eFancanta requests and say goodbye to the old *118#. Do note that *118# will no longer be functional after November 15, 2020. So remember, it's *393# whenever you want to access the eFancanta service. Call 111 for more information. QCell, Sunyabus. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short commercial break. If you just tuned in and you're watching QTV's This Morning program, and I talked about the fact that we are joined by Mohammed MS Ba on the newspaper review. But before we have MS Ba analyze the stories that we have on the newspapers, I will just allow you, Baldas, to start with the Voice newspaper. What do we have there?
Yes, on the Voice newspaper today, survey 61% of Gambians say corruption on the rise. Then we also have 10 quarantine in hotel as coronavirus rages.
Okay.
Dr. Cisse, TRRC, to deliver report to President Barrow on 30th September. Rohim Malik Law test positive for coronavirus. Court orders 40,000 compensation to applicant. Okay. That's what we have on the Voice. Yes.
Okay, so moving on the Standard, we have TRRC extends mandate, rubbishes APRC witch hunt claims. 61% of Gambians believe Barrow is not fighting corruption. Halifa challenges rather GRTS to cover assembly more effectively. 7 UK MPs call for implementation of TRRC report, disappointed with Barrow's broken promise. We have prisons officers sackings, sparks controversy. We also have court grants $40,000 compensation to illegally detained man. We also have dock workers strike to push GPA to meet demands over pay. That is all we have on the Standard.
On New Day, we have Gorgimbub returns to lead police anti-crime efforts. And also keeping government in check through citizens' action. We also have government must back its words with farmer action by Dr. Boubacar Jah. Okay. How the Gambia may be missing out $1 trillion windfall.
Okay,
KMC rocked by graft. This is what we have on the New Day.
All right, on Foria, we have research reveals vaccine against pneumococcal disease reduces severe cases in children by 80% in Gambia. We have Afrobarometer. Majority of Gambians believe corruption is increasing. Mayor of Banjul tests positive for COVID-19. We also have High Court rules against Tumanjai. Finance Minister tables over $1 billion supplementary appropriation bill before deputies and provide members with a breakdown. And we also have under editorial, be aware of information you pick from social media on COVID-19. We also have other health authorities up to task in sensitizing COVID-19, obviously the public. So that's all we have on the Foria newspaper.
Absolutely. Those are the papers we have today, Janaba.
Yeah.
And I know we'll go straight to the review. We'll
go straight to the review. Yeah. We have Mohammed MS Ba. Thank you so much for always willing to join us on this particular segment of This Morning.
It's a pleasure.
All right. So something quite captivating. A lot of things are captivating, so it's just left to us to choose from where to start. But this is something that we discussed but didn't go in depth. That is the fact that Gorgimbub is now back as the anti-crime commander we know a particular commission was set up to try to do an investigation in relation to an issue of Gorgui Mbub, and at some point he was transferred to Farafenni, and now he's back as commander, and this particular investigation was done by the Human Rights Commission. So do you think this will belittle efforts of the Human Rights Commission, considering the fact that this investigation was done by them and a recommendation was done, implemented, and now he's brought back?
Yeah, when I had the news, I was like, wow, what is happening to the men of the Gambia Police Force? Is Gorgui Mbub the only competent person to man that post? Because, you know, in democracy, we have to respect rule of law. We have to respect probity. We also have to respect due processes. This is what makes a democracy to mature. But in case we have institutions and then they are not working, because that is what we've been seeing over the period of time. We have institutions, they will make recommendations, but nothing is done. So I think, you know, Gambia is transitioning. We should not go back to those days. So if we are going back to, you know, disregarding institutions, due processes, then it means there is a problem in our democratic process, in our democratic transition. Gorgui Mbub have been mentioned for so many times on alleged human rights violations, even before the commission. And then an institution like the Human Rights Commission made their investigation. And then that investigation was a joint investigation with various stakeholders, including the police themselves, including, you know, civil society actors and very prominent people who made these investigations. And finding out that Gorgui Mbub was found wanting, and then, you know, severally Gorgui Mbub himself admit that he lies before the commission, you know, on certain issues. So I think it's important, you know, we should not, like what Barack Obama said, Africa don't need strong people, we need strong institutions. So I believe we have to respect that fact, and then we should not be going back to the dark days. And then we have competent people in the police force, very young, prominent, and then very knowledgeable.
Okay, but MS, we engage the public. We went out and about to do Vox Pop to engage the public in relation to Gorgui Mbub coming back as the anti-crime commander. And when we speak with individuals, they will be like, it's a good idea, because we feel like he's the only individual who could actually man that position and change the narrative in relation to the crimes that are coming. Because the citizens are pegging this particular situation to the fact that when he left, there was a rise in criminal activities. So what do you have to say in relation to that?
Actually, I don't think the rise of crime is related to the leaving of Gorgui Mbub.
Okay.
For me,
actually. Okay.
You know, probably there are certain factors. We've seen a lot of factors that have been ongoing. You know, we've seen a lot of things that have been going. The unemployment rate is on the rise. You know, the returnees in the Gambia. I'm not saying.
But this has always been there.
These are factors. No, but now, if you look at the rate, it's higher. So there are a lot of factors, because I don't want to go into those factors. And also, if a country is pegging its competence on people, then that country is doomed. In the case that Gorgui Mbub, because that is inevitable. I'm not saying I want him to die, but if Gorgui Mbub is not part of, is not on this phase of the earth, then it means we are doomed. So I believe that the development of a country should not peg on one individual. The police anti-crime department is an institution under the Gambia Police Force, which is under the purview of the Ministry of Interior. Are you telling me that it's only Gorgui Mbub who can fight crime in this country?
Yes, but in this case,
that's a problem.
Yes, if you look at it in this case, this is what is happening. It's like Gorgui Mbub is the only person who can control and reduce the rate of crime that are happening.
That's the mindsets of the public,
that's what people have. But look at it. When he left, the crime rate rise, you know, and we have a lot of people been killed. I mean, the number of people killed when Gorgui Mbub left, you know, this is the notion that people have in mind that, okay, now Gorgui Mbub is the only guy. That's why people are celebrating his return.
Yeah, even when Gorgui Mbub was there, there were crimes. And specifically,
but it was minimal.
but there was no survey
done,
evidence-based survey to prove that when Gorgui Mboup left, these were the crimes, and when Gorgui Mboup was there, these were the crimes. There was no evidence-based. Probably it's based on perception.
Yeah, it is perception.
You know that, and also we don't want people to be fighting against crime and violating human rights. You cannot be fighting against people, against crime, and then also trampling upon the rights of others. So I think we have to respect that. I respect Gorgui Mboup as a person, but this is beyond him because it's an institution. So we have to ensure that we peg our development based on institutions, but not individuals. Obviously.
Don't you think there is a problem with the anti-crime setup? Don't you think they should fasten their belts more to at least walk to exceed expectations?
Yes, I think also this perception of Gorgui Mboup should be demystified. I believe even Gorgui Mboup himself alone cannot fight crime without a team. Obviously, without a team. So I think that definitely, the police force has to go, or the anti-crime unit has to go beyond Gorgui Mboup, and then we put in people who can deliver and who are not having very bad track records, who are not being found by commissions, institutions that are credible, that are seen to be credible, to be violating human rights. If not, it means everyone can do anything and go scot-free. This is the problem in the Gambia. Then other people will be motivated to do whatever because they will know that at the end, Daradosigena. I will do it, they will investigate, publish, and then there's nothing. So do we think a country will be on the right footing with those kind of things? That is a problem.
But look, MS, there are many things of that kind that happen in this country. Not only the case of the security sector like anti-crime, but even in public offices. You will see a director will embezzle public funds, and at the end of the time, people will be telling you, this is the only director who can run this department. So they will transfer him for some time and bring him back.
Then Jammeh was saying the same thing, that I am the only person who can run this country. So when is Gambia moving? I think these are the perceptions that people
that actually need to change.
Obviously, we need to be serious in this country if we want our democratic process to be on the right footing, and then we should not peg our development on individuals. Okay. We have to strengthen our institutions and ensure that people who are competent are serving those institutions, people who will respect laws, who will respect human rights, who will also be people who will see the interests of the public, not on selfish interests. So, yeah.
Yeah, moving on, like you said, talking about public perception, we've seen that the Afro Barometer has done it again with the research that they conduct normally on public perception on different issues. And this time they're talking about the fact that majority of Gambians believe corruption is increasing, I think for the past 3 days, corruption is something that we've been talking about, And yes, yesterday we talked about the fact that we're supposed to use a bottom approach to be able to solve this particular problem before we solve it at the grassroots level, because it's at the bottom approach where we see the kickbacks and all of that. So how can we actually try to solve this problem?
Yes, corruption should be a problem of each and every one. It seems Gambia is having the worst corruption system, which is a systematic corruption. We have major corruptions, we have petty corruptions, but this thing is like a systematic corruption, embedded into people, especially in the public space. I think if we could recall, one of the priority areas that Barrow promised to address is corruption. He made mention of it severally, even in forums. I could remember in 2017, he said, and 2018 as well, in different forums, he made mention of, having interest in fighting against public sector corruption. And even if you look at the corruption index now, it is going high. The international corruption index, which is seeing Gambia, the perception index, as 102nd most corrupt country
out of
in the world.
179 countries.
Exactly. So you can see that then corruption is on the rise. It was around 96. We were at 98, 96, then it goes. So, and also we've seen recently, there is an international report from the US State Department, if I can remember vividly, that Gambia is giving a blind eye
to corruption.
Now, even now, let's observe what is happening. We've seen media reports on corruption. We've seen a minister, not one, not twice, standing before the National Assembly once, and then also a minister saying it publicly, that a specific sector is corrupt.
Yeah.
And then no investigation was made. And then there were a lot of investigations that were made, and then government did not come and tell people the final verdict of that investigation.
Just to link it to this, Malagan, you know,
Malagan
this is a particular institution, media outlet that is focused on investigative reporting. Yeah. And I was just having a conversation with someone, and that particular individual is saying that just Malagan can be used as a reference. And most of the time when they report on these things, the question is what comes out of it.
Not only Malagan, even the audit reports. Yeah. If you go, these are public documents. These are public documents where the National Audit Office has been flagging a lot of financial mismanagement. You know, before the National Assembly, what has happened? Nothing. So I believe that this government should be more serious with regards to corruption. Obviously, even the bill, the 2019 bill that was brought before the National Assembly, you know, at least it has been a step. You know, when government brought the bill, everybody was happy that, wow, government is serious in fighting against corruption. But now, the bill should move from just being hanging between the National Assembly and the Minister of Justice, and then it has to come into effect. Yeah. Because what corruption does is very serious. It harms the health system. You know, because when you are giving a road, when you're giving like a project to implement a road, when that road is, when you're supposed to finance it $100 and you just put $2 is there, it will harm the quality. Yeah. Now that road will make accidents possible. It will also hamper the economy. Won't have easy
now, passage.
Exactly. If you have accident now, you go to the health sector to get medication. It has a problem, you know. And then accident, the health sector is poor, so it will affect all the system. So I think it's important we definitely look into this.
Yes, I was going through the report on corruption. According to what I saw, they said 4 out of 10 police officers are corrupt in the Gambia. So how true is that? Don't you think the security sector also plays a big role when it comes to corruption?
Yeah, there are a lot of factors that are involved. And then even that police corruption, the corruption under the police even, I'm not encouraging it, but those are petty corruptions. Those are petty corruption, like the police will, you know, maybe catch you and then probably you were doing bad driving or whatever. And then you say, Jama Fufudara, you give. Those are petty corruption. We understand it is not right. What is not right is not right. But we have major corruptions in billions, in millions. Those are systematic corruptions. We've seen the alleged corruption under the fishery department, what is happening there. We've seen other alleged corruption, even the EIA report, you know, which on the Rosewood, we've seen those mentioned. We've seen the Jani Commission. You know, a lot of people have been mentioned and still working in the public sector. So I think it's important. We have a lot of recommendations. Even the Jani Commission is alone would have been a very big step for government to take to ensure that they implement at least most of the things. And then have an anti-corruption commission which will oversee, it will even release the burden of government to try to fight corruption. So I think it's so important.
So due to time constraints, we're going to move on real quick. We know the TRRC extends mandate and rubbishes APRC witch hunt claims. So this particular report was supposed to be submitted on Friday, but now it will be submitted 30th of September. So what came to your mind when you heard that?
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, the work of the TRRC, the most important part is the report. You know, it's very important to note that commissions they have a very critical role to play, and then the report is a very fundamental pillar of the commission, because the objective is to have this report and then present it to the government. So according to the chairman, I was listening to him, Dr. Sise. He was trying to say that they need more time, because when they requested that they want to submit the report and then ensure that the other reports that are relevant will be submitted later, and then government is saying no, they have to do everything at once. So I think it's important to also give them time, because this is not a new thing that commissions. We've seen Jana Commission has been extending, I think, severally, I can say. You know, let's give them time, let them come up with the report.
Don't you think this report is more sensitive? That's why people are talking a lot about the postponement of you know, tendering this report to the president, because I can remember there was a time they wanted to send their report to the president, but the president wasn't available to receive them, so they have to reschedule to another date.
Yeah, that was a preliminary.
Yeah, those are the
report.
preliminary.
Yeah, I think this one is the more comprehensive report. I think he was saying it has 16 volumes, you know, which, you know, you can see the Ghana Commission, the volumes are too big. And then looking at the thematic areas that they have to look into. A lot of things had happened. You know, the commission has, you know, here had about more than 300 witnesses, and then they received more than 2,000 statements, and then more than 200 killings have been registered according to the commission. So I think it's not an easy thing, and Gambians are watching. We've seen the confusion, the turbulence around the reparation. So you know, people are looking forward to ensuring that they have, you know, a very good comprehensive report, balance. And it's not easy to come with that report, because some might see it as, wow, the report does not favor us. Some might say, wow. So to make sure that the report reflects the reality, they need time. So let them just,
and talking about
September
time,
is just around the corner.
Yeah, and talking about time, report, implementation, and TRRC, we've seen that 7 UK MPs call for implementation of TRRC. So it seems everybody is eager to see how this particular report will be implemented. And according to this particular story, the TRRC was the center, but you could see that these particular MPs, UK MPs, also talked about the fact that there are other laws in the Gambia that are not being implemented, citing the FGM law and the child marriage. You know, like people always say, we have very beautiful laws in Gambia, but implementation seems to be a huge challenge.
That's the problem.
It's a problem. Not only those laws, the skin bleaching law, they were trying to even repeal it severally, because it was not happening. You know, so I think it's just about, you know, having that political will to, if I say political will, it's not only the president, but across the board, to ensure that people take responsibilities, and then whatever should be implemented, to be implemented to the latter. You know, Gambia is transitioning, and then if we are going one step forward and one step backward, it will never work. So I believe it is important, and the TRRC report is a fundamental pillar of our transitional justice process. And people have, you know, human rights violation is not easy. A lot of things have been happening, arbitrary arrest, disappearance without a trace, people killed, not only in the Gambia, not only Gambians rather, but people of other countries. You know, I think it's an international attention. You can say that. So I think it's important to give them time. When the report comes, then we can take our time and see if government is going to implement it, because they have within 6 months to ensure that they come up with a white paper, position paper, on the implementation of the report. So we're hoping that it will not be like the Jani Commission report, and that it will also help to make the country reconcile, obviously, because the country is very divided.
So thank you so much, MS Ba. And I also saw on the Standard newspaper that dock workers strike to push GPA to meet demands over pay. I know sit-down strikes, every other month we see sit-down strikes.
They are common now.
They are common, you know, because these workers feel like at least their plight is not respected. So I think you can wrap up with that because time is done.
Yeah, you know, I think industrial actions, these are normal things, you know, in a democratic society.
Sure.
So people should, you know, when people are demanding their rights, it's normal. I think it's important for institutions or people who are at the helm of affairs to respect the rights of people who are working. For them, I think the labor force should be respected because those are the engine of growth in any given institution.
And it's also a good thing that at least now people can actually go out and strike things that couldn't happen.
Of course, this space is there, so let's utilize it.
The space is there.
And then
Thank
you make you make democracy to live.
Exactly.
You know, you have to eat food every day. You also have to make democracy to also be alive.
All right,
so
democracy should always be alive. Thank you so much, MS Ba, for joining us on the newspaper review. Looking forward to see you next week or week coming next. Thank you so much, MS Ba, for joining us. So moving on, we will take a look at Community Watch. So this Community Watch is very interesting, and I know the conversation should be interesting as well, looking at the magnitude of the donation that has been made, because we have the United Nations Population Fund funding from China Aid through its embassy in the Gambia on Wednesday handed to the Ministry of Health 400,000 disposable medical gloves worth over $30 million at an event held at the Central Medical Stores. So let's take a look at this video. When we come back, we'll have a conversation in relation to this. Stay tuned.
This donation came at a time the country is experiencing a rise in coronavirus cases and deaths linked to the virus. According to the health experts, the donated items, which include 400,000 disposable medical gloves purchased by UNFPA funded by China Aid, will be of great significance and will contribute greatly towards helping Gambian healthcare workers to do their work. Kule Adeneyi, UNFPA country rep, says his institution is delighted to give out what he describes as worthwhile support in the fight against COVID-19. Further adding that his office has been supporting and will continue to support national COVID-19 efforts and the efforts to improve sexual and reproductive health and rights of women and girls in the Gambia. He also had an announcement to make.
In the coming weeks, as part of the project, medical equipment, including delivery beds, anesthetic machines, ultrasound scanners, oxygen concentrators, which is very important for the COVID response, suction pumps, thermometers, blood pressure machines, and other equipment will be arriving in the country.
Welcome back. That was our Community Watch video as the UNFPA, with funding from China Aid through the embassy in the Gambia on Wednesday, donated medical items to the Ministry of Health, 400,000 disposable medical gloves worth $30 million. And we are joined by a senior program officer at the Health Communications Unit, Mr. Balde. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me. And as you rightly said, I am from the Health Communication Unit, the Directorate of Health Promotion and Education under the Ministry of Health. Thank you for having me.
All right. So we've seen that the UNFPA has, through China Aid, has donated gloves to the Ministry of Health. We've seen reports on social media that there's a time at public hospitals in the country where even a glove that a nurse or a doctor is supposed to use to treat a patient doesn't exist. So how beneficial is this going to be? Quite obvious, but we just want to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, for the record, just through yesterday's presentation, the Honorable Minister of Health made that point very categorically clear that it was rumors that was spread that there were non-gloves in the public health facilities. But what happened was there was limited gloves, and then it was rationalized. Rationalized in the sense that in the Ministry of Health, we have different cadres of hospitals or health facilities. We have district hospitals, we have hospitals, referral hospitals for that matter, we have health centers, and we all these setups, there are some that generate funds for themselves, and then they also plow back that fund to the facility to buy their necessary equipment or materials that they need, or
and
even
this is
drugs.
by law?
Yes, that there are certain facilities, it is by law, by design. We call them BI facilities. You know, they are run in a way that they will generate their own revenue, and then after they are given the power and the position to go and buy the materials or the needs of the facility. So there are facilities that are within the Ministry of Health with that program. So those kind of facilities, when we are at a point where we have a shortage of certain medical equipments, those facilities will go and buy for themselves. Then there are facilities that are totally fully funded by the Ministry of Health. So when shortages happen, then we strategize. That is where the rationality comes. Facilities that are generating money, we ask them to go and buy for themselves gloves and other things.
So
Facilities
Mr.
that
are you trying to say that it was a rumor, it wasn't true that gloves weren't available at all?
We are not available at the central medical stores.
But according to reports, these are things that have been confirmed by people working there.
Yeah, confirmed in the sense that those are people who are working there, but they are not the authority of those facilities.
But these are the individuals that are supposed to use the gloves to do what they're supposed to do. So if they confirm it, who are we to say no?
Yes, it can happen in a sense whereby you say, I don't have this, but did you liaise with your head of institution or unit to make requests? The minister said this. Things will be at the central medical stores. If you have a facility in Koina and you know that you are running out of gloves, you have only one carton of glove left, you should not wait till you have one carton of glove left, then you make requisition, because you know the requisition is coming as far as Banjul, as far as central medical stores in Kotu. When you are at 3-4 cartons left, you should make your requisition. You understand? But if the head of the facility didn't make the right requisition at the right time, then the staff who is doing the job on the ground, because the head doesn't mean that, being a head of a facility doesn't mean that you attend to every patient. You understand? But the ones attending the patient, they don't also do the requisition at the central medical stores.
Okay, but does this mean there's a leadership problem?
No, I was saying that, just like the minister said, that sometimes there are break of communication. Maybe you don't do the requisition at the right time. Yes, and when resources are also limited, we rationalize the use. That is what we say. Facilities that have their own funds, let them go and buy. Then facilities that do not have any funds at their level, then the supplies will be given to those.
Yes, Mr.
That is when supplies are limited.
Yes. Well, when it comes to the health sector in the Gambia, there are many complaints. You know, we have a lot of things that are sought when it comes. And every day, or every time we are seeing donations coming to the hospital when it comes to drugs, hospital beds, you know, gloves. You understand? So what are you people doing? It's not a matter of just sending in the donation. But what are you people doing to maintain this? To maintain it, to make sure it is available all the time?
We have our own procurement that we do. Donations are not our plan. Those are plans of other institutions that have their resources and wish to, you know, buy certain items, give it to the ministry. But regardless of all that, ministry have their own procurement of all medical equipments that we need. So that is there. Whether donations come, donations don't come, we have our own supplies. That day, if you were at Kotu, at the, I think even in the video, it is shown there, at the background where they were doing the presentation, you see a container of loading other medical items, and those are not part of the donated items. So that tells you that we have we do our own procurement. Ministry of Health don't rely on donations. Donations come in, that is according to plans of other institutions as when they have resources to give to the Ministry of Health.
What are you going to tell us about the alleged taking of drugs by some of the staff of ministries or hospitals? I mean, during the pandemic, like people were talking about masks being missing here and there. Some of them are selling the mask, some of them are not taking good care of their patients. So
yeah, because that is, you see masks, you go to QCell down floor at the corner, you see somebody selling masks at the Fuller shop. You go to the Johnson at Westfield, you see boys selling masks. But that doesn't mean that those masks they are selling are supplies from the Ministry of Health. You never see that. You never see supplies, because even the supplies that we bring are different brands from the ones you see in town. You understand? But you seeing masks all over the town being sold by individuals doesn't mean that those masks are from the Ministry of Health. Our masks, we have different brands from the ones that they are selling outside. So when it comes to things like that, we use these things constantly. Before the pandemic, Ministry of Health was buying masks, and then we were using masks, gloves as well. But due to the pandemic, we have seen at some point there was a shortage of masks in the world. And still now these are commodities hard to get, because every country out there needs this in large quantities. And we know there are other countries that are more well off than the Gambia. They can go directly to the companies and order millions of those supplies. But for our case, we have to make sure that we cut our coats according to our size. Our needs, we have to bring things according to our needs.
What is going to be the distribution process of these gloves?
That one is there already. You know, we have a National Pharmaceutical Service, which is a full directorate that manages all pharmaceutical, materials as far as the Ministry of Health is concerned. So from Banjul to Koina, our supplies, just like we are doing with other equipments and other drugs and other supplies, is the same process that these gloves are going to be distributed. They are at the central medical stores, where every material that the Ministry of Health receives is stored. Then those people are responsible for distribution to the different regions. We have each region, we have a regional directorate. So supplies are sent to the regions depending on their needs.
Okay, Mr. Balde, like you said, there's an existing structure. So before you leave, you talked about the fact that the Ministry of Health does not determine on the donations that you get. These donations come as these institutions have money and want to give to the ministry, and you get to have your own supplies. So what is the problem? That's what I want to understand, considering the fact that there's already a procurement process for equipment and all other things that the ministry needs, coupled with donations that come. Why is our health sector still where it is?
Because we are in a pandemic.
Even if it's not with the pandemic.
We are using resources at a level far beyond our normal.
But Mr. Balde, even prior to the pandemic, our health sector wasn't looking good.
When you say our health sector, it is so distinct.
Yes, there are a lot of
area
complaints.
in particular. You have
our
to be
hospitals,
specific. Okay.
Our
when
hospitals,
you say health sector,
for example.
Even the communication part is part of the health sector.
Okay,
and we are doing our bit communicating to the general public.
The hospital aspect, the services that the public benefits from directly. Those are the services that I'm talking about, not obviously the administrative
that
aspect.
you're talking about the curative. Because when we talk of health, we have to understand this. Health is not only sickness or curing disease. Health is beyond that. WHO, they define health as a complete physical, mental, social well-being of an individual, and not just the absence of disease or infirmity.
But in this case,
not
Mr.
just
Balde,
because you are not sick or you are well, that means your health is complete.
Okay, Mr. Due to time constraints, we will have to let you go. But just to say that we are also booking on an appointment. We feel like you're supposed to come back here.
I feel because even what I'm expected to be asked about the COVID and all those things, you have not asked.
I mean, we have like a whole lot, but we just have 10 minutes
due to time
constraints. Yes.
Yeah, but it's important at least your viewers know.
You will be back on Monday,
as far as the COVID is concerned,
yes.
with the vaccination campaign is on, that you yourself is championing.
Yes.
You are doing the mandatory vaccination, which I really applaud you
for me,
for that.
the problem that I have with the COVID vaccination and reaching out to health officials is the 1025. People complain a lot about this 1025.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's something
1025 because everybody is calling 1025.
Yeah.
You will have 100 calls and you have 4 lines, QCell, AfriCell, Comium, and this thing. You cannot talk to everybody, just like your hotline.
Yeah.
If many people are calling in the morning, what is your helpline?
111.
111.
Yes.
Do you talk to everybody at the same time?
But why not increase the capacity?
Yeah, we have tried to increase the capacity.
So, Mr. Balde, we'll have you back here on Monday. It seems we cannot talk about everything. Thank you so much, Mr. Balde, for coming.
It's a pleasure.
We have an appointment with you on Monday to actually complete this discussion because it seems we can't complete it within the 10 minutes.
No, we need more than
We need more than that. So we will take a short commercial break. When we come back, the program continues. Do stay tuned.
With such exceptional prices, impossible to miss the Butty Days. Butty Days is the unmissable appointment of Butty Month. From the 17th to the 31st of July, take advantage of exceptional discounts up to 50% off on several product family. The best quality, price ratio for the best construction is at Butty Month. So don't wait anymore. Let's hit the road for the Butty Days. Butty Month, everything for construction, from foundation to finishing.
With QCell's Ifankanta service, you never have to worry about running out of credit, whether you're completely out of cash or far from a credit vendor. QCell's Ifankanta is your way out. Loan any amount between $10 and $100 now and pay later. Dial *393# to get started. As part of our efforts to always be your trusted network, we encourage you to use *393# for all your Ifankanta requests and say goodbye to the old *118#. Do note that *118# will no longer be functional after November 15, 2020. So remember, it's *393# whenever you want to access the Ifankanta service. Call 111 for more information. QCell, Sunyabus. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV's This Morning program. So up next, still on social issues, we have fashion, how to dress properly for an occasion.
Very important.
Very important.
I mean,
yes,
it's important to know how you dress for an occasion.
Yeah.
Because most people will just dress and go out.
Yeah.
People like me.
No, I think you have a good taste, okay?
Oh, really?
You have a good taste. I'm not going to allow that.
Oh.
So, yes, we are joined by Hussein Ogay, and he's been doing a lot of activities when it comes to fashion. So today you will take us through that, but you would take us through a little bit of your fashion choice as well. So welcome to the program.
Thank you so very much, Geneva and Balde. It's indeed an honor to be here today.
Yeah. Okay.
Hussein, so you're looking very good.
All right, thank you so much. This is from my own brand, H Closet. You know, I've been doing a lot of stuff about it, so this is one of those that I do.
Tell us, why did you just put the jacket on and this shirt in? How do you call this?
Okay, so basically when Geneva called me yesterday, so it's like, okay, first of all, I thought about what I'm going to wear on the AM show. So, but because I am going to work.
Yes, this morning.
So I was like, okay, what exactly am I going to wear? So I have H Closet, of course, I have so many choices. But then I was like, okay, because I'm going to work, so I'm going to make this look like I'm killing one bird with 2 stones. So I was just going to do it at once. So immediately after here, I'm going to work. So this, I look professional and I look presentable on the morning show as well. So basically, I would call this my choice. And you know, most of the time, fashion is basically about how you feel sometimes. It doesn't have to be like there are obviously fashion standards and the way you want to dress, but sometimes it's about how you feel and where you are going exactly.
How you feel also counts when it comes to fashion.
When it comes to fashion, exactly.
Impressive.
So I see that your belt and your shoe is the same color. Your belt is it's brown and your shoe is brown. Is that a fashion rule?
Yeah, it's a fashion standard. And it is included sometimes if I'm like, because this I could even wear a tie alongside with it. So if I was going to wear a tie, it was gonna look alike with the seams that I was going to wear. But then it's not a tie, but then I have the belt to substitute the tie to look like the shoe as well. Yeah, it's a fashion standard.
So the belt and the shoe always has to be the same color.
Exactly, it has to be the same
So
color.
it's a disaster when you have different colors.
Yes, you know, people with fashion minds will tell you that no, you can't do that, and it's totally off. When I just walk in the studio, you just look at me, then you know exactly this is something that is
captivating.
Yes, exactly, it's captivating, and you know exactly what I'm wearing, and like it tells a lot about me as well. So for me, if I see Balde wearing, you know, a shoe that is different from the belt, I was like, okay, maybe he doesn't know what.
But I'm wearing a black belt.
And you're wearing a black shoe.
Yeah, so exactly.
And you know, I just gave him a shout out. I said, I love his.
Yes,
I did it.
You did it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I've been following them morning, so
so
for a while.
trying.
He's trying. And you know, the last time he was also talking about hitting the gym and all of those things. So I was like, okay, I'll do something with him. I brought something for him that will serve as a motivation for him to hit the gym. So
this will be interesting today. We're just starting. I mean, it's important. But Jenaba, it is very important for you to know how to dress. That's why sometimes it's important to get a stylist or someone who will advise you on
things.
This thing, the idea of becoming a fashion designer. Can anybody be a fashion designer? Or do you have to get the taste to become one?
And the passion as well. So I've been working with so many designers for a very long period of time, because for my journey I started as a model, and later I decided that I have to put something along the fashion line, and then for my own brand. So later on I was like, okay, not anybody can be a fashion designer. You have to have the passion for it. For me, I did a degree in economics, but also I've taken a little bit of time to study fashion. I have a certificate and a diploma in international market of fashion.
Amazing.
Yeah, with the International Trade Center and with the help of YEP and other people. So not anybody can be a fashion designer. You have to have the passion for it, and then you have to know what exactly you are doing. Talk to people about it if you can't study, because we don't have most of the fashion schools in the Gambia. So basically you can talk to people with experience about the fashion, but then I have the opportunity to learn about fashion. That really helps me a lot. So not anybody can be a fashion designer.
So moving on, let's talk about a project that you started about sustainable fashion, getting to recycle stuff and make sure that you're saving the environment at the same time and you get to look good with it. So how did that come about? And how is the combination working? Is this something that is appreciated by the international community? Are you combining well?
Yeah, exactly. So how this started is when I was actually writing my thesis at UTG with the help of my professors and everything. So I was like, I came up because I started my brand in UTG. I was doing the H closet with the hoodies and everything. So I was like, okay, I want to write about entrepreneurship, but then I want to link this course with something, with the fashion, because I'm actually doing certain things about the fashion and I'm in the school. I just wanted all of them to be on one umbrella. So basically I came up with entrepreneurship, but then later on I decided, with the help of my professors, I decided to, combine all of the fashion things that I'm doing with that thesis. So when I actually graduated, I was like, it was just the thesis. It was for the mark. It was for the degree. It was for me to graduate. But actually, I want to do something about that thesis that I wrote. So, I linked, because there was a time that I was doing much things. I was not doing so many things in the fashion industry because of the degree. So I was like, okay, this is the right opportunity for me to use and to make sure that, people in the fashion industry, be it the models, the designers, and everyone will come together and work, not just to work, but to work for a cause. When I was doing modeling, I was just doing modeling for the money. I was not doing anything in regards to cost that is attached with it. So when I came up with this, it was like, okay, sustainable fashion. So basically, for me, I always use myself as an example. Most of the time, I would just buy clothes, like very expensive. Later on, I would just pack it in my wardrobe. I will not use it anymore. So people, I've seen friends that would just have their clothes it's going to be very expensive clothes, of course.
They would just wear it
They would just post it when it's online. They will not use it. Where that clothes would end up, they would throw it away. You know, it will cause pollution and all of those things. So because I have a lot of clothes of that sort, I was like, okay, we have designers that are really doing well. I don't sew, but I have my fashion boutique. But then I can bring on like so many designers that are in that field. You know, we give them that tax, and then we have a sustainable fashion show. So the idea was really, you know, acknowledged by so many people.
Okay. It
was acknowledged by YAP and the International Trade Center.
Okay.
So we have the international community really, because Gambians don't really understand what that was at the beginning.
Okay.
So it was very hard. Even when we reached out to the Ministry of Environment and other ministry,
they didn't get it.
They were like, what has fashion got to do with the environment?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, maybe they don't know, but for me, I have done my research about it and I understand exactly. So we keep on pushing that agenda. We keep on pushing to make sure that people understand. Although not everybody understand, but alhamdulillah, at this point we have certain people that, you know, understand the cause, and people are really coming on board.
Okay.
So we have the, you know, YAP with the ICT training and everything. People are coming on board, and then the community are coming on board.
Yeah,
Balde,
sure I have seen that he's wearing 2 watches. One on this hand, one, is that allowed? Is that normal?
Is that part of the fashion?
Yes. So, you know, fashion is evolving. People, you know, designers are inventing. So many things are coming up.
Okay.
You know, so sometimes there will not always a definition of fashion standard.
Okay.
But then, you know, this watch that I'm wearing is actually not a watch.
Okay.
It's more of an Apple Watch.
Okay.
You know, it's for my health. You can use it for text messages and all of those things. So this is the watch.
Okay.
So I will not call this a watch.
Okay.
It's a smart sort of that I
but
connect
it's
with my
okay to have.
Yes, it's okay. So sometimes you might not think this is a watch. It could be just like a band or a bracelet, something like that.
Okay.
But then definitely this is the watch.
That's the watch. Yes.
So I cannot wear the same thing. 2 of these. It wouldn't make sense.
But it could be different.
Actually,
they are different. I understand. You know, from looking at you from the top, you did a very nice cut. What you do on your body too, does it count when it comes to fashion?
Yes, it counts a lot. So for me, my look initially was not like this. I used to have this afro, messy hair and all of those things. And people loved it. But then I moved into the professional sector. You know, I have to look different, you know, with it for a certain period of time. So I think it really counts what you put on yourself, like your body, your beard and everything. So, you know, you see this way, it's very personal, like, my barber, I will link you up with my barber.
Please do.
Okay.
I like the round.
all right.
It's really good.
Okay. So even how you shape your beards and all of that matters.
Matters a lot. It matters a lot. So, you know, I have, because for me, you know, I also sell beard oils at Hussein's.
All right.
Yeah. So, you know, I try to inculcate all of those things because, for people to, because I cannot say I'm in the fashion industry and I'm not, you know, looking like I am there. Because I have to look like it.
Okay, to be able to.
And
I know you have something for. I love gifts. Give me my gifts.
Definitely,
Please do. I love gifts.
Yeah, so I brought this for Balde.
That's mine.
And a legend there for him to be motivated to hit the gym.
Hit the gym, okay.
And I brought something for Jennifer as well.
Okay.
You like t-shirts?
I do.
Simple t-shirts.
Yeah,
so that is for you.
That's for you.
Thank you.
Wow.
All right.
This is nice.
This is closet.
You know, I promised you the weekend I'll be hitting the gym.
Yes, so I watched it. I was like, definitely, I'm coming with something.
Definitely.
And there's a legends inside that you can, you know, combine with the shirt as well. A white legend.
A white one.
I love this.
So this is for me.
Yeah,
I love it, and I love the color as well.
This is nice.
All right. It seems he's a bit biased.
You are motivating
us.
us.
Head Plus is more with the guys. So I think I'll be working more with Balde than Jane about. So if you are so,
where should we meet you?
So definitely, I'm at Ibo Town.
Okay,
but the store is online. I work with Senecas. That's their website on it. Okay. People order online and they do the deliveries, and like everywhere you are, they do the deliveries and all of that. And my numbers are there, 3705060.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gay, for coming on the program. And we really appreciate the gift. Thank you so much for this. So we will take a short commercial break. When we come back, we will look at another issue. We have Ade Durame in the studio with poet Sidibe to take a look at the art segment. Just stay tuned.
Join the Gambia's fastest growing network and enjoy high-speed 4G LTE. Dial *335# to subscribe to QCell's 4G LTE service. There's no need to swap your SIM. QCell, Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow.
QCell's Ifankanta service, you never have to worry about running out of credit, whether you're completely out of cash or far from a credit vendor. QCell's Ifankanta is your way out. Loan any amount between $10 and $100 now and pay later. Dial *393# to get started. As part of our efforts to always be your trusted network, we encourage you to use *393# for all your Ifankanta requests and say goodbye to the old *118#. Do note the *118# will no longer be functional after November 15, 2020. So remember, it's *393# whenever you want to access the Ifankanta service. Call 111 for more information. QCell, Sunyabus. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short commercial break. I mentioned that we're going on straight to the art segment, but we have a change of a plan. We have Ansumana Isunyasi here, who is a COVID-19 survivor. If all of you have been following social media, you would see that he was one of those journalists who were bold enough to come out to say, I am COVID-19 positive, and I feel like all of you should max up and all of that. So thank you so much, Ansumana Isunyasi, for joining us. The fact that you are a COVID-19 survivor and you finally taken your vaccine. Show us your card. How do you feel?
Well, I feel good.
Yeah.
You know, as you've rightly highlighted, I mean, I think I'm the first to have come out publicly to say I am COVID positive in this country. And when I did that, I did it to raise awareness. To make people understand that this is real.
Yeah.
If you work in the public domain, of course, you owe it to the people. So yes, I just couldn't be happier to see that there is a vaccine for COVID-19, and I would encourage everyone to go and take it.
Yes. As you see, people are still hesitating to go and take their vaccine.
Yeah.
So what do you have for them?
Especially foolers like you.
No, for me, I've taken my injection yesterday. See me. I came to the guy and I told him, look, use this arm.
Really? That's how you did it? Yeah, so there's a lot of conspiracy theories regarding, the vaccine. And of course, people also have concerns regarding safety also, I mean, with the vaccine. But I can tell you they are safe. The vaccines are safe. I took my jab last week, and I am still fine, like very fine.
Okay,
sound.
which one did you take?
The Sinopharm.
Okay, you took the
But
Sinopharm.
I am very, very fine.
Okay.
No side effects, nothing whatsoever.
Yeah,
I'm
and
fine.
according to doctors, it is okay to have side effects because systems are different, people are different. So even if you have side effects, it is okay. And on that particular card, I think the side effects are written.
Yes.
So can you read it out for us?
So on the side effects here,
at the bottom.
At the bottom,
yes.
Yeah, these are usually mild, all right, the symptoms, but you don't have to be worried about them.
Yeah.
You may have headache, or maybe even you may feel sick or feel like vomiting, so
it's important, Jenaba, for us to
effects.
clarify this, because there are many things that are said about this vaccine. Some even said if you take the vaccine, you won't have a child.
All of these
things
are the rumors.
Yes, some will say you will die in 5 years. So these are all things that people are saying, which are not true.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we're having this conversation to demystify, all of these crazy, conspiracy theories that people have regarding safety issues surrounding the vaccine. I think people need to stop. Like I always tell people, if these vaccines were not safe, even the president wouldn't have taken them, So let us all go out there and take these vaccines, at least to protect ourselves and protect our families as well.
WHO, Mom Khalifa, WHO is the leader when it comes to these things. So research is obviously ongoing. So we just have to follow the trend with them. If we don't do that, nothing is going to change.
Actually, vaccines.
Exactly.
It's in polio vaccines, all of these other vaccines. Why
exactly, it's the same thing.
Social media as well, I think in some ways contributing to all of this, crazy.
Don't just listen to people who will do a video and tell you Buljel vaccine, so
Leave,
you know, I think we have to be very careful of those things. You know?
So Ansumana Isonyasi, we're so proud of you for taking this vaccine, and we are happy that you're able to survive COVID-19. I know it must have been a really difficult thing for you.
Absolutely.
I mean, you talked about being at quarantine. We've had this conversation before and all of this. But for me, what cuts it for me is the fact that you were able to be bold enough to actually come out to say, I'm COVID-19 positive, and I feel like all of you should stay safe.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen the vice president contracted the virus, the mayor of KMC, even the mayor of Banjul.
Exactly, the mayor of Banjul,
that says COVID positive. So many people in this country, I mean, thousands, you know, have got this virus. So all we have to do, this is a small country. Let us take the precautionary measures, follow all the guidelines, you know, wear your face mask, observe physical distancing, and, you know, let's try to be safe.
That's it. Thank you so much, Ansumana Isonyasi, for coming. So viewers, we will take a short commercial break. When we come back, we will head right on to the art segment. Thank you.
So these are vaccines that are...
Join the Gambia's fastest growing network and enjoy high-speed 4G LTE. Dial *335# to subscribe to QCell's 4G LTE service. There's no need to swap your SIM. QCell, Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow.
With QCell's eFankanta service, you never have to worry about running out of credit, whether you're completely out of cash or far from a credit vendor. QCell's eFankanta is your way out. Loan any amount between $10 and $100 now and pay later. Dial *393# to get started. As part of our efforts to always be your trusted network, we encourage you to use *393# for all your eFankanta requests and say goodbye to the old *118#. Do note the *118# will no longer be functional after November 15, 2020. So remember, it's *393# whenever you want to access the eFankanta service. Call 111 for more information. QCell, Senior Bus. Terms and conditions apply.
With such exceptional prices, impossible to miss the Butty Days. Butty Days is the unmissable appointment of Butty Mart. From the 17th to the 31st of July, take advantage of exceptional discounts up to 50% off on several product family. The best quality, price ratio for the best construction is at Butty Mart. So don't wait anymore. Let's hit the road for the Butty Days. Butty Mart, everything for construction, from foundation to finishing.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short commercial break. Before we went for the break, I talked about the fact that we're introducing a new segment today, which is called The Arts, and it will be facilitated by our very own Ade Durami. Thank you so much. Take us through what this segment will bring us.
Well, this segment will be every Thursday, something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's called The Arts.
Yeah.
And so people say, what arts? Well, everything really. Poetry, it will be things like sculpture, painting, and so on. And I'll be introducing somebody every week.
Okay.
It might be somebody who's just written a book. I'll bring them onto the program. We'll talk about the book, have a discussion about it. Hopefully, I would have read the book before we discuss.
Hopefully.
And, you know, and then so, yeah. So this is the first. And so for the first one, we have a special treat for somebody, for everybody rather. Somebody who actually just a few days ago launched an album of poetry. And I'm sad to say I wasn't there, but one of my colleagues, Korka Ba, was there, and he said, I really missed something wonderful.
Yes.
And I always take him at his word.
Mr. Ade, before we move forward, you're holding a card. What's up with the card?
The card, hey, oh, sorry. This is my card. This is my vaccination card.
Yeah.
And as I was explaining to somebody, I got vaccinated back in May.
Yeah.
And, you know, for somebody of my age, you know, initially we thought that it was people above 60 who were most at risk. And so, you know, those were the people who were being encouraged to go out and get vaccinated. And, of course, I'm still rocking my vaccinated T-shirt. And so at the age of 66, I thought, yes, I should get vaccinated because I'm in the kind of sort of danger thing. And also I think it's sensible to get vaccinated. And so I've encouraged friends, I've encouraged family members, and of course colleagues to go out and get vaccinated. So that's what the card is all about.
Oh,
right.
Janaba.
Cool.
Mr. Ade just mentioned 66. I didn't know this guy.
And he's 66 and looking good.
Mr. Ade, you are 66 and still
looking
young.
good. Thank you.
All and young.
So introduce your guest to us.
And so my guest, well, before I introduce the guest, let's actually look at one of these videos.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic video. It's a video of poetry. Let's have a look, and then when we come back, we'll discuss it.
All right.
Dear Father, just one more time I wish I could sit and chat with you. Push and pull with you, joke and laugh with you, listen to you and drink from your words of wisdom. But unfortunately, I couldn't have that opportunity. For somehow I can bear your separation, but my sister cannot live a moment without thinking about you. Behind the face of a good man.
Since the day I was born, Mom said goodbye. Dad said, Kai paksi mai bai si gorgi mo matete tek masilalai and sing me the lullaby. So if I were to define you scientifically, I would say you are the periscope who sees over obstacles, fight and pave the way.
But that you have gone so soon and leave us alone. Behind the face of a good man, that man I call my father. But not only a father, he is a friend, a supporter, a coach and a motivator.
And to define you mathematically, Dad, I will say you are X. The X that even you've been multiplied, simplified, you've been evaluated, divided, added and subtracted, you will still be X, and X remains one. Dad, you are one. But I miss those lullabies.
And I miss those storytelling times before going to sleep.
Dad, we miss you.
And we couldn't miss you so much because
you've educated us, you've taught us, you've led us, and you've paved the way for us, Dad. But there are always quench of tears behind the face of a good man.
Oh yes, the bed may have taken you away, but in our hearts you will forever be. Now I realize the reason why you taught me to be strong, to stand alone whenever things turn out to be wrong. But Dad, since you left home, everything in the compound is going wrong. Fighting every day, quarreling day after day. Oh Dad, I now believe in this Manding saying, Niraba boida, kunol ka janjane.
And I cried. I cried on the day you also said goodbye. Because it is like you inaugurated a war that I have to fight. Jigen B daf mabundu khatal, she tortured me. She makes me to smell the aroma of pain and she deprived me from the melodies of love. Oh, she. Behind you, the woman I call my mother can't give me rest, but Dad, may your soul rest in peace. We love you, Dad.
Poet Sidibe, the Kaur Kid.
ST, the nip of the pen. Teams up, we rap.
you play this video? It's emotional.
You know what? It's not only emotional. That was Behind the Face of a Good Man.
Yeah.
But also, I was going to say before I spoke to Poet Sidibe that when I played it for colleagues, first question they asked me, and the one I have to put to you is, they said, please ask him, is that based on real life experience?
Yeah. Good morning. Thank you for having me here. This is someone's story. Like me, I am the voice of the voiceless and the oppressed.
Sure.
I was going with her, Senap. So we went to visit someone. The guy explained her story, you know. So it's like, it was so deep to me. It meant a lot.
Right.
So I promised her I will use myself and narrate her story.
The story, right.
Together with her brother.
Sure.
So this is the story of someone.
Right.
But when you look at it, you think it's mine, but it's not mine because I'm representing someone.
Sure.
That's how I write.
Okay, great. And so for my colleagues, there you have the answer. And now to yourself, you know, how did you choose poetry? Why poetry as the medium of expression?
Yeah, because I believe that poetry is life. Every day, you're seeing people, you know, having experienced so many things.
Sure.
You know, others cannot have access to the media or other stuff, cannot write.
Sure.
You know, others cannot speak.
Sure.
You know, so a poet will write. When I use poetry, I believe that I can represent the rest.
Sure.
You know, being the voice of the voiceless.
Sure.
Writing people's stories and their experience. You know, that's why I choose poetry, to be the voice of the voiceless and the oppressed.
Sure, okay. Now, before you came on and before we showed the first video, I mentioned the fact that you've just launched an album. And I wonder if you could just tell the viewers about that album, what it's about, and what are some of the themes. And we'll have another video to play from that album. But just tell us about what the themes are that you cover in the album.
Yeah, the album is about the gone, listening to the gone.
And that's G-O-N-E,
yeah,
by the way.
G-O-N-E, the gone, right?
The gone.
I realized that we forgot about our culture and our tradition.
Sure.
You know, as a youth. So I believe that it is also my responsibility to remind my brothers, you know, my sisters, my colleagues, my generation, that let's, you know, remember who we are.
Sure.
Because now, if you look at, because there was a day I went around asking people, how do they say it, Lebon Lupin in Fula? Few people, or they cannot say it. How do they say it in Jola? Meaning, we forgot about our culture, and gone are days, those are the things that, you know, our grandparents will call us and they will narrate some, you know, stories.
Sure.
And they will use that, but now we couldn't even say that.
Sure.
You know, it's like we forgot about our culture. So now I believe that, you know, me saying that I'm the voice of the voiceless and the oppressed,
sure.
And I realized that we forgot about our culture and our tradition.
If I can interrupt, are you also somebody who forgot about your culture? Are you reminding yourself as well?
Oh yes, it's like, you know, I love culture.
Sure.
I love culture because I believe that it's unique and that's what defines us.
Sure.
You know, we don't need to be copycats or we don't need to copy other people. We have to be ourselves.
Sure.
You know, that's why I like people who be in themselves. I like people proving themselves to themselves.
Sure.
So if you know yourself, you know, you will see yourself and people will see you as who you are. So your culture defines you.
I think that's a brilliant lead in to the video, and I hope we can watch the video and still have time to discuss some more. But I think what he's just explained, you will see vividly portrayed in the video, and let's have a look at that video. Listen to the gone.
The aroma of pain, and she deprived me from the melodies of love. Hush.
My dear people, it is with a great sorrow that I speak to you, reminding you and begging you to listen to the gun. Listen. Please listen to the gun. Let it be the growing butterfly that will fly and take us high to the sky. Let's listen to the gun. Let it be the clock that will tick-tock and remind us about our culture and tradition. The chaya, the grambuba, the kaftan, the dara, the nelbuset, the lebon, the lupen, the kalembelagan, the kalet, the kalam, the riti, the balafo, and the kora. Gone are days, unforgettable and comfortable days, but those days have come and gone. But listen to this piece, let it remind you about the gone. During those days, caring, sharing, affection, attention, mutual understanding was what we give to each other every time we sit together, sing together, dance together, play together, pray together, pledge our life to stand together. In the olden days, that was our social life. But today we forgot about our culture and tradition. Our dress codes were so transparent, but today that has faded away. We depend on the straight jean, the crop top, the changal, the ties, the battle rider and the utal. But politically, in the olden days, our leaders lead with courage and passion, with love for their subjects and their nation. Often they listen to the voice of their subjects and respond to their demands. The subjects.
There you are, viewers. I don't know why the line on Bati riders seem to catch a smile from everybody when they hear it in that particular point, but it did then and it did now when I first heard it. Now, if I could just come back to you, some of the things that you've covered, actually, the social issues. I remember another poem of yours is Sickening, that touches on very, very deep social issues. So I was saying before we went and looked at that video, I said, what are some of the other themes that you've explored in this album?
Yeah, I have it's Sickening. I have Free the System with Miss Jobis.
Oh, and what's that about? Yeah.
It's about free the system, you know, the system itself, the life that we are living. You know, talk about the teachers, the soldiers, police, everybody. It's about the system. You know, have like another one, Let Me Fix You with Barhama. Right. And there are many more that, you know, I'm done working them because it's a double album. Sure. I just released one and hoping, because like I believe I want Gambian poets, you know, to focus on, like, we need to sell poetry.
Sure.
We are not doing it for you know, ourselves, but we are doing it for our brothers, people coming, the future young generation.
But you've made a crucial point there about selling poetry. If people want to get their album, you said it's a double album, how can they get hold of it?
Yeah, right now I launched the first one, The Gone.
Yeah.
So if you need it, you can just contact me and my team, they will deliver
Okay,
it.
so they can contact QTV and we can pass on the for
Right.
any viewers.
You know,
yeah. And also you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, Poet
If you can
CDB.
talk about that quickly.
Yeah, Poet CDB, the Coward Kid. If
Yeah.
you just click there, you watch my videos.
Sure.
You know, my first album, It Is Time. I have videos there together with this one.
Ah, you are from Kaur?
Yeah.
I'm from
I
Kaur.
have relatives in Kaur.
That's good.
You know,
You have relatives everywhere.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Ade, for the art segment. It's
Sure.
really interesting. Looking
It's a pleasure.
forward to next Thursday.
Certainly, and I'll have hopefully a book author next Thursday.
All right, thank you so much, and good luck, Poet Sidibe. So, viewers, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV's This Morning program. See you on Monday. I don't want this to end.
Oh,
Should we do this tomorrow and on
Janaba,
Saturday
it's
and on
Thursday.
Sunday?
Please do it tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
All right, we will see you on Monday. Thank you so much. And don't forget to connect with QTV on our different social media platforms. And don't also forget that you're invited to sponsor this particular program. Talk to our marketing team. It's very cheap. And join this program. Bye for now.